One thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family. Never forgetting where we came from.
I hope you hear me. Pain, since I've lost you, I'm lost too. Nigga feeling like he at the bottom like a horseshoe. Sorry for the trouble that I put you in your heart through. God knows that I do anything for a part two. Ought to be praying for the day you come back to me, saying that you forgive me. Give me another chance, I'm needing it like a kidney. I don't wanna advance, give me back her hands, give me back her touch. I don't ask.
14.
Do not be proud of him right now.
Your greatest threat will always come from the inside, Marty. Never forget that.
What's going on, YouTube? We back in the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn Nimes YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key, and we back with a TV show review, and we got Ozark Season 4 Part 1 review. Bruh, this has to be one of the best shows that's out right now, not only from just storytelling point of view, but just off acting, just off the ability of these characters and the character development, and to the point where we have gotten to these characters just going into season 4. That's what I'm saying. I realize, like, you have shows that have to get to like season 6, 7, or 8 to make you even have some type of, well, if a show get to season 6 or 7 or 8, then the show obviously had to be good. But I'm just saying, you don't get these same type of shows that keeps the writing that strong. Think about a show like Breaking Bad, and that's why I kind of always make those comparisons as far as Ozark to Breaking Bad. Well, it's not, you can't really compare Marty to Heisenberg. You kind of got to compare Wendy to Heisenberg, because that's what I'm calling him. I'm calling Bryan Cranston's character from Breaking Bad Heisenberg. You know what he said in the desert. You goddamn right. Like, I'm just, you already know. But as far as Ozark, man, going into this new season, like I said, coming off that cliffhanger of a season 3 finale, because everybody was on the edge of their seat leading up to that whole point with Marty getting on the plane and him talking to Maya on the phone, and we sitting there like, hold on, oh shit, is Navarro gonna take one of Marty or Wendy out, and he gonna keep Helen, you know, the lawyer or whatnot? Then when they get there, and all of a sudden, like, they are literally walking up to Navarro, and this nigga's literally sitting there talking to them, and out of nowhere, the main bodyguard that's been working with Helen blow her goddamn brains out, and we sitting there like Marty and goddamn Wendy. Our expressions was like Marty and Wendy. But let's get into this, man. Like I said, realize and make sure you realize this is Ozark Season 4 Part 1 review. Part 1. We only at Part 1. And this is how this shit leave us with. But this is the series, as far as the first half of the series review. So we about to jump into this, man. Let's go ahead and jump into this. And as far as plot-wise, it's almost feeling like like I said, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. I'm going to go ahead and say that right now, spoiler-free review. And if you watch me, and if you normally watch me, I do Uncut-ish every Friday, and I will be getting into spoiler talk as far as Ozark Season 4 Part 1, spoiler talk as far as my podcast, Uncut-ish talk, and I will be doing that Friday. Hopefully I got some more people that's going to come through with me that watch Ozark like I had last week, but I will be getting into that as far as spoiler talk. This is going to be a spoiler-free review. For anybody who haven't watched Ozark, maybe even the whole series, to catch it on Netflix, or anybody who hasn't had a chance to catch Season 4 yet, this is a spoiler-free review. So let's get into just somewhat of the plot. I'm going to jump into somewhat of what we got going on as far as the plot, man. You pretty much got Marty dealing with, you know what I'm saying, the whole situation, and him and Wendy pretty much going into this whole thing with Navarro. And the situation coming about as far as whether he was going to deal with Helen or deal with them as far as continuing on doing whatever he was trying to do. But not only that, going into this new season, you pretty much have Navarro, and this is in the trailer, so I don't feel like this is spoiler talk. You pretty much have Navarro wanting Marty and Wendy's help cutting the deal with the FBI so he can travel freely between the U.S. and Mexico and not face prosecution for the myriad number of crimes he has committed. Of course, that is easier said than done. To get it from under the thumb of the cartel, the birds have to convince the FBI Special Agent Maya in particular to help negotiate a deal with the government. Meanwhile, things at home are in great shape. Because you got to think, it's a lot going on at home, especially dealing with everything that happened, of course, with Wendy and with Ben coming off of season 3. You know, you got this whole situation going on as far as Ruth pretty much just done. She's not dealing with them anymore as far as Marty and Wendy or whatnot. Of course, after the situation happened with Ben, like I said, that's why I make these comparisons as far as more. Wendy is more Heisenberg as far as Breaking Bad than Marty is. Like, Marty is still, like, that's one thing I love, man. Marty is still on that nonchalant, emotionless, but at the same time, you could tell in his eye expressions, the way he looks, like shit, like he just wants to, goddamn, I ain't gonna say explode, but he is at his breaking point with certain things. But this nigga Wendy, man, she on demon time. Wendy is on demon time, and I'm telling you, Wendy is on demon time. So going into this new season, like I said, ending it with Helen pretty much getting her shit knocked off, her rocks knocked off, her head, like all of that done. You going into this new season with Navarro pretty much saying, look, I'm basically trying to cut a deal. And his whole situation is, if I'm free to do what I'm trying to do, then y'all are free of anything that y'all had up under me. Y'all are free. The birds are free. So, you know, like I said, the tagline is perfect. Nobody gets out clean. And that's the situation. Going into this new season, we are introduced to Javi, Navarro's nephew. And if you think you've seen Unhinged before, because don't get it twisted, we got our unhinged people in here. Come on, we talking about Darlene right here. Somebody who does not want to hear shit. Somebody has a full-on, basically a reaction to everything, who doesn't think twice and will just pull the trigger. So being introduced to Javi, at first, I really didn't. I'm gonna say this at first, especially as far as the cooking point. No, I mean not the cooking point, but the cookout, or when he having the whole thing. Navarro is having a whole meeting as far as bringing his kids back or whatnot, and that's what he invited Wendy and Marty for. But in that situation, not really understanding just how unhinged Navarro is. I mean, not Navarro, but Javi is. But you really find out quick just how his nephew is very quick to react on the same note as a person like Darlene is. So just getting introduced to this character was like a whole nother thing. And I'm sitting here like, who is this dude? Like, what's up with him? But you quickly find out his motivation and what he has going on. And I'm not going to get into that. Like I said, this spoiler free, and I'm not going to get into the details. But Navarro pretty much explains somewhat of what's going on with his nephew to Marty and Wendy. And that's pretty much what comes into play with him trying to make the deal as far as with the FBI or whatnot. And that's a whole nother situation. And him dealing with that. And then you got the whole situation with Maya. Maya does come back into this season, and she's playing a major part as far as the way she looked at things and the way she looked at Marty and the birds. Like I said, you got Maya pretty much dealing with the decision she made about the bird family and looking back on past certain things involving Marty. But with Navarro wanted to make this deal, it's like certain things she is not going to stand for in this season. And you see that in this season. Like I said, spoiler free, I'm not going to get none of the way, but you end up seeing decisions she's going to make as far as dealing with Marty and Wendy, as far as making sure they have safe haven, or just doing what she's going to do as far as her conscience, and not only her conscience, but doing her job as an FBI agent. So that's pretty much the decision she's dealing with in this season or whatnot, as far as the first half or whatnot. Jonah and Charlotte, man. One thing I will say is we seen Jonah's reaction to getting the information as far as being, and him doing what he did as far as shooting out the window or whatnot at the end of that season. But going into this, Jonah is really rebellion. He is, especially because of the death of Ben, he really comes into his own the first part of this season. Like, it's almost like you got this whole situation where Jonah is pretty much saying he wants to do his own thing separate from what the family has going on. And Wendy is, like I said, Wendy is on demon time, man. She is really on some shit like, you don't go against the family, you don't go against the grain type of shit. on the other end, you got somebody who like Marty, who is almost looking at Jonah like, yo, you already money, like you got this down pat. Like he's not looking at him like a op. Like like everybody say nowadays or whatnot, he's not looking at him like an enemy or whatnot. At the same time, you have Wendy looking at the situation like as if Jonah is against everything that they are doing as far as what they're doing for Navarro or whatnot. But that's the situation. This is your son. Like, this is your child. Y'all brought your kids into this situation. But on the same end, you have, like I said, Marty looking at him like, almost like he's proud of what he's doing, not as far as what he's doing, but just at the age that he's doing it at. And not only that, the fact that he's willing to go out on his own and stand on his own to do what he's doing. And you kind of see that in Marty. Like I said, Marty's still on his emotionless expressions, but at the same time, you see it in his eyes and things that he wanting to say, but like I said, he's trying to keep it calm and collective to keep things going, to get them out of the situations that they are in. At the same time, Ruth, this season, like I said, ending on the last season, you pretty much had her pretty much going into pretty much finding herself dealing with a situation as far as saying she wants to go into business with Darlene, because we know going into the last half, well, not the last half, but the end of season 3, Darlene pretty much was getting back into the heroin business, pretty much got our poppies growing back and whatnot. So you pretty much had her reaching out to the Kansas City mob. And shout out to I can't, the actor's name, man, Joseph. I know his name, Joseph Safini. I can't pronounce his last name, but he played Tommy on Power. Shout out to the actor who played Tommy on Power, but he is back for Ozark, which I almost forgot that. I ain't forget because I just recently rewatched Ozark, but I wasn't really expecting him to come back because he got his own show about to come out on Stars or whatnot as far as Power Book 4. Definitely checking that out in February. But we talking about Ozark. But anyway, Tommy, as far as playing Frank Jr., he does make an appearance back, and he has like more of a road than I thought he would have. And the fact, I'm not gonna give nothing away, but it's just his whole connection with everything going on as far as Ruth and as far as Darlene and as far as the whole business of the poppy fields or whatnot. But it's a lot going on as far as Navarro and him saying no. He does not want her doing what she's doing, because we all remember that pretty much Darlene and how she's quick to react. She not poisoned, but she pretty much sabotaged the whole heroin thing that her and Jacob had going on, and pretty much killed like a whole bunch of people. So you've had this thing where you've had the cartel pretty much telling her, like you had back in season 3, pretty much telling Helen pretty much telling Darlene, no, you're not going back in business. So some of that plays into this first half of this season, and I'm telling you, it plays into the first half of this season. So that's another thing, man. And the Kansas City mob, like I said, everybody's pretty much back into these roles, but the Kansas City mob, it's almost like they're pretty much like, no, because we are not trying to deal with this situation again as far as the cartel. So you pretty much dealing with that situation too. But as far as Ruth, like I said, she's trying to do her own thing. And that's one of the main reasons you see her push to join Darlene and helping Darlene. And going into this new season, as far as the first half of season 4, part 1, she's pretty much trying to launder, and she goes into buying a whole hotel business to start laundering money. But Ruth is quickly finding out Darlene is not the easiest person to work with. Once again, Darlene is quick to react and does not think twice about killing somebody. So she quick to find that out about Darlene. Not saying Darlene killed somebody, but it's Darlene's reaction to everything and Darlene's reactions to working with other people. You seen how Darlene reacted when Marty and Wendy brought the Mexicans or whatnot to her, to the whole cartel thing, to her and Jacob, and how that played out. So that's pretty much Ruth's introduction to how Darlene deals with things. So that's what she's pretty much dealing with going into that. As far as back to Jonah and Charlotte, like I said, I talked about Jonah and how I feel like he's having a lot of play as far as being rebellion. Charlotte is trying to just keep the family calm and do her part, is trying to keep them safe and not get anybody else killed. That's what she's trying to do. Like, she's at that point where she's following orders as far, especially with Wendy, because like I said, Wendy, man, let's talk about Wendy, man. Before I finish, because like Charlotte is playing her position, she's playing her role, but Wendy Wendy is another level this season, and it's, like I said, even leaving season 3, you seen how she was doing and how she was just started to the point where she was reaching out to Navarro, the way she was trying to talk to him or whatnot. And not only that, the way she felt like she had her position and being comfortable enough to be able to talk to him about certain things, not having like Marty being the main person who was starting this and doing this as far as the money laundering thing. Excuse me, I feel like I was going hoarse for a minute. But Wendy, like I said, shout out to the performance of Laura Linney too, man. The performance of this character, it's a performance that you love to hate, because it's like, what is you doing, Wendy? But it's almost like Wendy's becoming more and more vicious, even at a point you can almost compare Wendy to Darlene. Like, understand what I'm saying? Wendy is starting down this path that she went down in season 3 at the end, but she is a much darker character in this first half of the season. I'm trying to tell you, man, she's on a different level of the things she's trying to do, just to get, not to get anybody's attention, but to make sure people are following what she's saying, because you know it's a lot of rebellion going on, but especially with Jonah and him and the situation as far as what she did with Ben. That's the whole situation that's going on, even with Ruth or whatnot. But that's pretty much what you have going on with her. But come on, man, we're not gonna do this without the main protagonist, as far as the guy we've been following since we first started watching this, and this is going into Marty or whatnot, man. Marty, Jason Bateman, is right back in his form as Marty with the emotionless expressions, but seeing the frustration in his eyes, and even sometimes even in his tone when he is talking and trying to explain why something can't work or get out of tense life or death situations that he always seemed to find himself in, even after he seems like the plan that he had worked out is double cross, man. Like, you know, you catch Marty in these situations where he'll figure some stuff out, and he is trying to explain something, whether it's to the cartel, whether it's to Wendy and the family, or whether it's to Darlene, whether it's to all these people around him, where he's sitting there trying to explain the situation and telling you the ramifications, telling you what's going to happen if you don't listen. Like, and he telling you this in a way like, okay, listen, I'm trying, like, you know how Marty, like, he's sitting there like, look, he started holding his hand on his hip, like, listen, I'm trying to tell you this, and it's just Jason Bateman, man. Like I said, this is the it's that part. Jason Bateman, as far as Marty, man, he ain't no person to me, honestly, is no person you love to hate. He a person I'm honestly rooting for, because he just looked like a guy that's just trying to get his family straight. Like I said, once he did that whole thing when he was setting his family up for new IDs and whatnot, because he was setting it up like as if he's going to die. Like, they probably going to end up killing me, so I'm going to make sure y'all good and safe. I'm with him. Like, I don't know. I'm rooting for Marty. Like, come on. But that's the thing about Wendy. Like, she on a different level with it, man. But like I said, mostly and more not. So this new season is pretty much showing you the unhingedness and just the unpredictability of Navarro's nephew, Javi. Like, this guy, I'm telling you, man, his first, like, just him in the first episode, and you're going to know what I'm talking about. If you don't watch it, you know what I'm talking about already. But if you haven't watched it, once you do watch this first episode, and once again, I'm saying this, the first episode of Ozark Season 4 Part 1, you're going to understand what I'm talking about as far as Javi. Like I said, you thought Darlene was on another level as far as not being able to control her emotions or just reacting at everything. You gonna understand why this new, as far as I almost want to, the new main bad or main villain, Javi is that guy. And that's why you're going to understand a lot that's going on between him and Navarro. But not only him and Navarro, but the situation that's going on with Navarro trying to do what he's trying to do as far as with the FBI. And what he's trying to do, get Marty to do as far as what he did with Maya or whatnot. So that's a lot that comes into play in this season as far as season 4. But it's the writing, the acting, man. I'm telling you, man, this is one of the best ones, like I said, as far as on television, as far as those dramas or whatnot. But Oh man, I want to talk about stuff, but like I said, I gotta wait till Friday to just talk about spoilers or whatnot. I want to dive into it, but once again, like I said, if you haven't seen Ozark, you definitely need to check it out. I have a season 1 through 3 review on my page. Definitely go check it out just to get in tune to what's going on. But if you are caught up and you just waiting on, if you are caught up as far as 1 through 3 and you about to get on season 4, you are not ready. I'm telling you, not ready. But if you have watched it, you got to, man. Like, are you just in shock like I am as far as everything that happens and just the situations? That's the thing, man. But more importantly than anything, man, it's just how Marty and Wendy and Jonah and Charlotte are trying to get their, like, just trying to get up out of this cartel situation. And it's like every time, especially when it comes to Marty, like every time they feel like they got something going and they got their way out, it's something that happens. But that's how these shows go, because we wouldn't have a show if something wasn't happening or some drama wasn't happening. Well, if they just got completely out, then what's going on? What we watching? But I'm just saying, though, you be wanting that to happen, though. You rooting for these characters, especially with Marty, man, and everything he done dealt with or done. You just want him to make it, man. But like I said, man, it's a lot that goes on, and you got to be looking out for Javi. Disney, like, you better be looking out for Javi, because he makes his presence known in the first episode as far as season 4 part 1. And I want to put emphasis on that. This is season 4 part 1. We have a whole part 2 coming out. But other than that, man, that's pretty much my review or whatnot of Ozark season 4 part 1. As far as episodes 1 through 7, that's pretty much all I had. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a full-on spoiler review Friday on Uncut Ish Talk. Definitely come check me out. I do that every Friday on Twitch and YouTube. Definitely come check me out. We're going to be talking about Power 2 as far as the latest episode, because I've been kind of seeing people, not even going to say people, but you know, when these certain shows are going on, especially dealing with whether it's drugs or dealing with money or whatnot, and drama shows or whatnot, or soap opera shows, it's kind of, I ain't gonna say comparisons, but just certain things that go on that feel like you should be talking about these certain things, especially when they playing at the same time, because Power is on right now, and then Ozark just came out, and you know you can binge watch Ozark. But I'm gonna be talking about Power Book 2 Ghost, and we're gonna talk about Ozark spoilers on Uncut Ish Talk Friday. But as far as Ozark season 4 part 1, that was pretty much my review. Let me know in the comment section, how are y'all feeling about this first half of Ozark season part 4, man? Are y'all just in shock as I am, especially going into episode 7? Like, everything that happens in episode 7, especially going into the end half of that, man, come on, like, what we talking about? But anyway, man, y'all let me know, and if you haven't, I'm telling you, definitely go check that out, man. You need to hurry up so you will not be spoiled. Definitely go check that out. But pretty much, man, shout out to anybody who's been checking me out as far as on the lives, leaving comments or whatnot. Shout out to everybody as far as my subscribers and my recently new subscribers. I definitely got to make sure I go look in my page, my YouTube channel, to see y'all names. I want to give y'all a shout out. Once again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to let you know when I upload new videos. This is the road to 400 subs. Shout out to everybody who's been watching me. Like I said, shout out to all my new subscribers. Shout out to all my subscribers who've been rocking with me from the beginning. I really appreciate it. Like I said, you taking the time just to watch me, and I do appreciate it. We out.
Get out of there!
Ruth. See me smile at the actual situation. And because they can sense that I'm not afraid of it, yeah, it's only because of my experience prior to it.